Aloha, my friends. This is Archangel. Thugs, gangbangers, warmongers, domestic abusers, rapists, pedophiles, child abusers, thieves, assailants, crooked politicians, corrupt religious figures, greedy corporate pirates, to everyday selfish user of others. Males, they really are the bad guys, and they are bad guys because they are male, right? Humans throw around and deal in generalities, and despite political correctness, cultures, governments, and corporations thrive on stereotypes and statistics, which informs their decisions regarding entire cross-sections of people. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we judge others, and the more nickels that match our judgment, the more we label all nickels. This is humanity. We paint all based upon the actions of the majority. Even if the majority is only 50.1%, it is still the majority. So we all stereotype, somehow in some way, period. Now, just as we can say most divorces are female initiated, and thus females must be hypergamous, they can retort that most criminals are males, and thus males must be evil. I mean, look at the numbers. Societies run on statistics after all, and upwards of 70, 80, 90% of all the crimes throughout history have been committed by male hands, right? So how could I possibly defend males and represent them as wondrous creatures full of value and worth? How could you not see males, all males, as evil? Yep, that is society's stance. Well, I assert that there are equal ratios of male and female criminality. Female misdeeds are unknown or hidden, while male misdeeds are simply more visible, which makes it appear as though high numbers of males and low numbers of females are criminal. Whereas I posit that criminality is fairly equal across the board between the sexes, yet there are a few machinations in play which cause this discrepancy. Alrighty, so stay with me here. There is a lot to tear into. Okie dokie. So, males are deemed disposable by nature, and so humanity, being advanced creatures capable of ethics and morality, we then devalue males to make their unfair expendability fit moral constraints of fairness and justice. Because, you see, if males can be labeled as evil and malicious by nature, then we do not really need to feed morality. There is no guilt for male mistreatment, because we propagandize males as vile and malevolent creatures that deserve their expendability. And so we don't have to morally wrestle with conscience. We simply treat them as any other violent, malicious, discardable creatures that mean to do us harm. Moreover, if males are evil by nature, then they were made that way by God, and thus we use them as such, and still sleep soundly doing so. However, I call foul over female elevation and male devaluation. Yet, the rest of the gynocentric world argues statistics to bolster their assertion that males are simply evil waiting to happen because, they reason, if males are not violent but loving, if males are not abusive but nurturing, if males are not inherent tyrants but rather heroes, if males are so awesome, then how do we explain away male deviance throughout history? We look into the history books, and they are chock full of male debauchery, male violence, male greed, male trespass, male trickery and treachery from leaders, politicians, religious figures, all the way down to the average murdering, raping, plundering drones. We see power-hungry male rulers causing mass abuse. We see controlled drunk male religious figures cause widespread fear and mistreatment. We see overwhelming numbers of wrongdoers that were male, from pirates to gangbangers to gunslingers to marauders to garden variety criminals, yet hardly any female criminality. So, how do you explain this discrepancy in male-female criminality? Indeed, females think this argument is a feather in the females are better and superior hat, since it appears as though males really are violent and malicious by nature. It's in their genes, which statistics throughout history will bear out, and thus their mistreatment is absolutely justifiable on a wholesale level, the same basal level where they are also deemed discardable for female welfare. So again, there is no moral wrestling. Males are demonstrated violent and evil, and we must subdue their tendencies, break their spirits, and control them, for they are wild animals running off instinct, not equal beings of hopes or feelings or worth. Hence, they must be abused in order to be controlled, so they do not hurt little girls, who of course are the most valuable aspect of the human species, right? So again, how does one explain away the historical sex discrepancies in criminality, yet still argue in favor of the bloodthirsty rapists and murderers? Well, setting aside the overwhelming positive of males and blatantly ignoring the fact that everything in this entire world has been innovated by male minds, built by male hands, and maintained by male sacrifice. And of course none of this would have happened if the majority of males were the redundant, bumbling morons and vile plunderers we slander them as. Still, there are a few reasons to fuel these discrepancies, as well as other reasons that an inherently good male might go bad. Yes, there have been some bad eggs throughout history that were indeed male. Yep, absolutely, no denying it. Yet the assertion is that there is a laughably lopsided number of males who are bad eggs, enough to taint the entire sex as bad or evil, or at the very least as deserving of caution, for they all have these latent, deviant tendencies within their male programming, and males will turn into killers or pedophiles or domestic abusers or terrorists at any time. Thus, the overwhelming number of male criminals warrant the blanket labeling of males as negative. That is the argument and assertion by a gynocentric public. Okay, so for starters, there are a few things that supersede the sexes. Some aspects transcend vagina and penis and are indicative of the human animal, both sexes. Some characteristics that encompass all Homo sapiens, and one of the most prominent is greed, lust for power, lust for beauty, lust for wealth, lust for control. These are human failings that afflict both sexes and all humanity, not just males. In fact, hypergamy is a construct in which females are very familiar, for under this paradigm, females want better and more. Even the very notion of using and extracting provision from males in order that a female might provide for offspring, this is based upon concepts which parallel greed, in that the female wants more and more. Even if usury is done under the guise of collecting provision for others, it is still a sister concept to that of gathering more and more than the female had previously. And depending on who you ask, that act, the act of gathering more and more, it is either called responsibility or greed, depending on who the recipient of the usurped provision is, whether male stuff goes to children or simply to enrich the female. So do not fool yourself with this female altruistic benevolent pure angels rhetoric. Greed, which leads to lust and hence treachery or violence, is very much a concept as familiar to females as it is to males. Now, to address the seeming number discrepancies, well, first and foremost, we have gynocentrism. If you have two tribes and everybody devalues tribe A and loves tribe B, then you will slander and inflame A, and you will propagandize that tribe's members by exaggerating their mistakes and overindulging the reportings of their debaucheries. Meanwhile, you will hide, deny, and sweep under the rug the indiscretions of tribe B. Gynocentrism means that we elevate females and devalue males. Hence, we exaggerate and over-report the misdeeds of males, and totally cover the misdeeds of females. And since humans are gynocentric, there is no use in reporting a female's misdeeds. She will be seen as innocent and exonerated by public opinion anyway, where female actions are justified. She was influenced by some evil male somewhere. And even if a female is found to be just plain evil, well, she is still female, and her uterus grants her a pardon. No use bothering the female reputation with nonsense. Instead, we will overfeed the male reputation of depravity. So, one reason for criminality seeming to be overwhelmingly male is gynocentric propaganda and cooking the books with exaggeration and inflated statistics on male versus female criminality. Now, granted, this may not be a huge reason, but skewing statistics does happen. Another reason is method of operation. You see, males are bold, assertive, well, when they haven't been dumbed down, emasculated, and pumped full of foods and chemicals that mimic estrogen. And so males are more inclined to audacious frontal attacks, whereas females are more slippery. they like to stir discord from the shadows while playing the virtuous female card in public. It seems that, historically, slow poisoning is a homicide method most favored by females, for it is sneaky, hidden, with plausible deniability, whereas males will straight up stab another, or climb the clock tower and start shooting people. Yeah, it's hard to deny, because you can see them doing it. However, a wife or caretaker that slowly introduces poison, well, that's much harder to prove, and she can simply deny everything. And since she is a female in a gynocentric world, she automatically enjoys the presumed innocence that accompanies the pure, loving, wholesome, altruistic, benevolent, angelic reputation that halos the female sex. She could never do that. She is a female. So, besides gynocentric elevation of female reputation and slander of male reputation, the method of operation may also explain more male criminal visibility, since males' method of boldly assaulting is more visible than females' slippery behind the curtains method of manipulation. This brings us to our next and very substantial reason that males seem to be more criminal than females, and that is manipulation. Why would females need to get their hands dirty when they can get males to do their dirty deeds for them? Yep, this is a huge reason that you do not see female statistics equal to male statistics of wrongdoing. Because females manipulate males into doing misdeeds for them, whether through sex or by playing on guys' heartstrings with victim narrative or fragility cards, or whether by simply nagging him to the point that he will do anything just to shut up the clucking chickens. Whatever the reason, males throughout history have been taking out females' trash and then taking the punishment for it, while she retains freedom and the reputational exaltation that comes with being a female in a gynocentric species. So, males are the bold Mark Anthonys, and females are the Cleopatras, who manipulate them into doing the grunt work and taking the fall for them. Female manipulation is absolutely significant in this discussion, for males have committed every manner of atrocity that exists all over a female. Also, males live in such a toxic environment of male slander and devaluation. Males are saturated daily with how vile and disgusting and pathetic they are. They are mistreated and used. Their feelings or pain is marginalized, as they are told to suck it up and protect, provide, and die for family, community, country, and the fake painted up females that everyone worships. So, in light of all this, some males simply decide to embody that which they are accused of. Okay, you know what? You say I am disgusting with no hygiene. Fine, I will go around burping and farting anytime and anywhere. You say I am a drooling pervert that can't control my sex drive, and I have lustful, wandering eyes. Fine, I will openly catcall and eyeball females everywhere. And of course, you say that I am inherently evil, and I come from a long line of murderers, rapists, and plunderers, also known as human males. You know what? Fine. Then maybe I will simply become the thug that I am accused of being. Some people are wrongly accused of being something over and over again. And eventually, some people figure, fine, you want to call me that? I will be that. Plus, some males are lazy, yes. And they see being a slob or a gangster as easier than having manners or morality. And so some males simply take the easy route and act like animals to avoid having to practice manners or self-control or equity towards fellow beings. This also may not be a huge reason for male criminality, but it has its place. So let's tally the score thus far. First, we exist in gynocentrism, which will elevate females and devalue males and their deeds. Next, we have MO, modus operandi, method of operation, which gives male misdeeds more visibility than female misdeeds, since males tend towards visible frontal assaults, whereas females like to shoot blow darts from behind the curtains. Next, we have females that manipulate males into doing their deeds for them, just like they manipulate males to pay the bills, fetch the car, lift the heavy stuff, and die for them. And this is a huge reason for male criminality statistics throughout history. I mean, come on, do you not think that females have conned males throughout history? Knowing male weakness for females, especially attractive females, and knowing females' awareness of their power over males, I find this particular reason to be largely responsible for the discrepancy between male and female criminality visibility. And females, even if they do not flat out ask a male to rob a bank, they will cry about their love for him, yet moan and lament her life or lack of material luxury. And so he will take it upon himself to either work more hours or turn to nefarity in order to fetch his love the life that she fancies. Yet, this again is sneaky. It is plausible deniability, because she technically never asked him to rob a bank, and thus she is innocent of his actions. Oh, do not make the mistake of thinking that females are not capable of this. They are crafty and sneaky, and there are so many layers of subterfuge and manipulation by females, whether it be stirring up chaos at work, at church, or within the family. Females pull male strings, and they have done so throughout history. And finally, we have some males who simply acquiesce and become the thugs that they are slandered as being because they are male. Now, I have saved the most compelling male wrongdoing construct for last. Evil entities. Nope, not the malicious manipulating females that I just addressed, but rather extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional beings that have interest in swaying human drama on this planet.
Oh, good lord. Here goes Archangel, totally off the reservation again.
Yes, but just follow me for a moment. Because evil entities influencing and controlling males is no different than world leaders controlling male populations. You see, as with everything else, this comes down to biology. Males are amazingly strong, capable of impressive feats, and they are creative and brilliant beyond comprehension. And so since males are the creative forces in this existence, thus we seek to control them for ulterior agendas, whether that be to labor and build, or to soldier and make war, or to contemplate and conceptualize technology. The point is, we seek to control male potential. Males are the force everyone seeks to harness. Males are what matters despite their devaluation. Meanwhile, we exempt females from responsibility and societal usage, and we let them pursue their major contribution to humanity, offspring production. We let them do whatever they want as long as they churn out more baby makers and more laborers. But you see, the fact that we are so zealous about how we indoctrinate and control males proves that we understand them to be the more important aspect of the human experience. Such actions acknowledge males and their potentials as more important than females, as evidenced by our frenzied programming and indoctrination of males. Whether traditionalism or feminism, everybody has their hysterical, opinionated beliefs about how males should think, behave, and ultimately how males, the creative forces, should be managed. Meanwhile, we seem to give females carte blanche to do anything they want under the feminist regime, and females are also above reproach under the traditionalist regime, as long as they pop out kids and push a vacuum once in a while. Everyone and everything seeks to control male potential. What do you think that suggests? Now hold up. I know how that sounds, and I know what you're thinking. Wait. So you're actually saying that we value males more than females? You are totally disproving the entire MGTOW or male empowerment narrative of being devalued and disposable, as well as validating the feminist storyline of oppression with the direction of the comment you just made, aren't you? No. Allow me to meander for just a second, and I will come back to the evil entity's reasoning. The difference here is that females as individual beings are valued more than males. Males as a collective force of labor or protection or innovation is recognized as an important commodity that everyone seeks to control. Everyone all the way through history has sought to control the male creative force. Now, seeing males as a force, a collective, gives rise to individual injustice, as individual males who think that they have worth, individual males who think that their feelings matter, or that the world cares about them. Well, they are the collateral damage, the grease beneath the societal wheels. individual males are squashed as the machine of society grinds on. So yes, males are still devalued and disposable on an individual level, and that level of individuality is where each of us has our existence. So perhaps great forces seek to control the male collective, yet at the end of the day, nothing has changed. Males will still be thrown overboard when the RMS Titanic is sinking. Males are still genitally mutilated at birth, still egregiously maligned in the court systems, and still subject to abuse from other males who white knight and bow before females. No, males do not have inherent value nor privilege. They have worth as a force to control. So, nope, males as individuals are still expendable, yet at the same time our overzealous seeking to control males betrays the propaganda which says that females are superior. Now the gynocentric crowd will rebut such assertions and say that we seek to control females via reproduction and we seek to make them produce offspring. No. Females want to reproduce. We don't have to make them do anything. They seek to do it all on their own. And aside from forced coupling in some cultures, females are actually in charge of the mating process. Males don't control reproduction. Females do. Now, indeed, some males may seek to control females romantically because they wish their object of affection to love them back forever and ever. However, despite propaganda and historical book cooking or slanted recordings of male debauchery and female exaltation written by gynocentric hands existing in a gynocentric world, despite all the BS, we do not seek to control females. We seek to control males, and such fervent control is only sought over those who have superior contributory value or who pose the most opposition to any particular agenda. Okay, back to the evil entity scenario. Basically, it is that evil entities seeking to create chaos choose males as their vessels perhaps more than females. Let's say there are negative beings that exist somewhere outside this planet, outside this dimension, that feed off the energy that humans emanate or give off when they are angry or hurting. Thus, it would stand to reason that they would want to create more and more pain and suffering to feed off of, yes? And so it would make sense that on a planet where physical action is the rule of the day, where physical might is what gets things done, thus you would seek to influence those who are more adapted to physical movement and action, human males. Think about it. If you seek vessels or drones to create for negative purposes, you would influence those who are more adapted to cerebral genius, males. If you seek to spread your negativity far and wide, you might seek to find natural-born leaders, whom you might influence into misleading and abusing the populace. Thus, you would influence those who are aggressive and assertive, who take charge and lead, and males fit this leader archetype, whereas females are more passive, which pits them as followers. On the other hand, if you seek to influence genes and reproduction, then you would seek influence over the females, which, anecdotally, there seems to be more females claiming alien abduction than males, which fuels the hypothesis here. And what if males are wondrous and beautiful and caring right from the factory, as I maintain? Yet because they are suited to the purposes of negativity that evil entities seek, they are wholly influenced and preyed upon to do negative deeds here on this planet. Males might be likened to the pit bulls, the pickup trucks, who are suited to a specific task, such as physical destruction, merely because of their size and physical attributes. Perhaps this is another reason males have more criminal visibility throughout history, simply and only because they physically fulfill a specific need, such as for physical violence and war making. Yes, I know, this is all so crazy, but what if males are simply more appropriately suited to a purpose? There are negative beings that need a load of dirt hauled, and males are the pickup trucks used instead of these sedans in order to expedite this task. It might be that males as a sex are preyed upon and heavily manipulated, not only by humans, but extra-dimensionals as well. Now, don't get me wrong, females may be used and manipulated by evil entities as well into causing chaos, but theirs is more of a puppet master role, where they create a cold, hostile environment by manipulating males with their wiles, which leads to more pain and suffering for the males. So females are the sedans that drive around the pickup truck carrying its load and manipulate the truck into slowing down, speeding up, or turning. Yet males are still the multi-talented work trucks used for nefarity by negative entities. An amazing number of killers will say that they have heard voices or influences in their heads. What if this is literal and they are simply carrying out negativity for beings that feast off of our suffering? There is a curious number of male figures throughout history that have had mental anomalies, from Stalin to Hitler to the average everyday killer. Are they perhaps being utilized because they can more effectively accomplish physical chaos than a female, while females can cause more emotional chaos than males, and thus they are sequestered to help control males who are the creative forces of this realm, the tools needed for the end goal of ugliness? I know, this is all so silly, but males being used by others is not a foreign concept, it is the rule of the day. And others have hypothesized that humans were actually bred to be servants by other entities, such as the Anunnaki, and specifically it is the human male who was bred to be a servant, a laborer. The human female is simply there to produce and raise the succeeding generation of slaves and baby makers. So really everything is about controlling males, their capabilities, and their actions. And the best way to control males is through their weakness for females. And so females manipulate males, and the males carry out the labor or the wrongdoing. This is why there seems to be more male criminality. Yet my assertion is that if we could truly assess both sexes' true thoughts, intents, and deeds throughout history, there would be equal numbers of bad eggs across the board. Now, this is not me being an apologist for males that trespass onto others. I do not justify male wrongdoing throughout history. Males that hurt and abuse are abhorrent, regardless of whether they are kings, popes, generals, tycoons, or simply the average peasant in medieval England. Trespass onto others is wrong, and I defend not their actions. All I am saying is that females are just as criminally minded. They simply fly under the radar because of method and sex reputation. On the other hand, if males are influenced and essentially controlled by the manipulation of evil entities or by females, then they are not totally to blame for their actions. If males receive brainwashing by a gynocentric society and are raised to behave a certain way, thus they are being manipulated by governments, societies, constructs of family and romance, and so their actions are not really theirs. They are the actions of programming being followed. And likewise, when males follow negative programming or manipulation, they are not fully to blame for their actions. Or if a male breaks from pain and commits negativities, then they are doing so under duress of pain or suffering. And so there are other factors that involve themselves in males' actions. And indeed, if we are totally being toyed with by other off-world entities, then we are all causing pain and chaos that we would not normally commit against each other. So we all, both male and female, are being violated into violating each other. Regardless of what's what, gynocentrism is the reigning paradigm, and thus we seek to disparage males as lesser than females, because on paper they are shown to commit more wrongdoing than females, which would suggest an inherent flaw in their makeup. Well, I say, get your head out of your ass and see the female creature for what they are. They are just as susceptible to committing wrongs as males, and in some cases, they are more criminal. According to some statistics, females are taking the lead in domestic violence numbers, and these are numbers gathered from ones who will report it. Many will not report, and so I imagine that females are the lion's share of domestic abusers today. I mean, how many males are being exonerated today because of forensic science? Males that were wrongly imprisoned by a zealous system that devalues males and simply looks for a male, any male, to pin crimes on. Just another male criminal statistic to add to the others, all of which supports the gynocentric narrative that females are wholesomeness and males are depravity. So, how many males throughout history have also been falsely wronged because they happen to be in the vicinity and they happen to be male? Oh, so give everything here a good mental chewing and see the subterfuge and slander at work against males. Asserting that females are better than males because all the negativity that surrounds us and throughout history appears to have been caused by male hands. Well, this is wholly flawed and propagandized. I assert that if all thoughts and opinions and deeds of both sexes were laid bare in the sunlight, we would see equal numbers of criminality mindsets between the sexes. And when you see the treachery against males, you will understand why I maintain that males are beautiful, wondrous beings. My friends, stand with me, live free.